Genie Plus is gone and Lightning Lane Multipass is here. Disney just dropped some major news about what's going to happen to Lightning Lanes in just a few short weeks, so if you want to make sure you're not left in the dust, keep watching and we're going to fill you in on all the details. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. I know everyone's got a lot of questions about what on earth is going on with Lightning Lanes, so just to get to the nuts and bolts of it, today's video is going to blanket what we know so far and attempt to put your minds at ease if you're planning on using Lightning Lanes during your upcoming trip, once these major changes have started. If you have any more questions even after today's video about these Lightning Lane updates, you probably will because they keep changing things, make sure to drop them in the comments down below so we know what we need to research further for even more videos to come. Just know on the first day that these new changes are officially released, we will be right here in the parks using them firsthand and reporting back to you on any new findings and hopefully some fun and helpful hacks along the way too. So what's going on? Well, we've already had quite the history with Disney Genie Plus and FastPass and Lightning Lanes. As it stands currently, Disney Genie Plus is a premium feature on the My Disney Experience app, which gives you access to Lightning Lanes. Lightning Lanes allow you to bypass standby lines for certain attractions with an extra purchase. That's the very abbreviated version of it. But starting July 24th, 2024, not so very long from now at all, Disney Genie Plus will become a thing of the past and Lightning Lane Multipass will take its place. Lightning Lane Multipass will become a service where you can predetermine your Lightning Lanes before you arrive in the park. This is something Disney's been teasing us about for a very long time, like over a year, but now we're finally getting to see it come to fruition. Not only is Genie Plus getting a new name, but individual Lightning Lanes will become Lightning Lane Single Pass. But I don't want to info dump all this new stuff on you in one point, so let's break it down into nice, easy, digestible nuggets, starting with the biggest question of all. What do predetermined Lightning Lanes actually mean? Well, if you ever used the free FastPass Plus system back in the day before Disney Genie was ever a thought, then what I'm about to tell you when it comes to Lightning Lane Multipass is going to start sounding really familiar because a lot of the Multipass changes directly parallel what we used to have with FastPass before. We're just going to have to pay for it now. When you purchase Lightning Lane Multipass, once it officially switches over on July 24th, you'll be able to make up to 3 Lightning Lane selections in a park ahead of your visit. Additionally, you'll also be able to choose available return windows as you make your attraction selections. So you're going to be able to choose what day you're visiting, what ride you're riding, and when you're riding it. Then on the day of your park visit, once you use a selection, you can make another one based on what's still available on the My Disney Experience app, just like you currently can do using the Disney Genie Plus system. You still with me? Awesome. I think this is going to be a smoother conversation than when we first learned about Disney Genie Plus a few years back, but again, ask questions if you got them, and the team and I will answer whatever we can to the best of our ability. Now the tiers have returned. Again, we're seeing some ghosts from FastPass Plus popping up again. Disney is reintroducing a tiered system for Lightning Lane ride selections. At Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios, you'll be able to choose 1 experience from a higher tiered group and 2 experiences, or all 3 depending on what you prefer, from a lower tiered group. Here's what those first tier Lightning Lanes look like right now. For Magic Kingdom, Tier 1 includes Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan's Flight, Space Mountain, and Tiana's Bayou Adventure. In Epcot, Tier 1 is Frozen Ever After, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, and Soarin' Around the World. And for Hollywood Studios, Tier 1 is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run, Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith, and Slinky Dog Dash. Animal Kingdom is the only park currently that won't use a tier system like this, so pretty much every ride aside from Flight of Passage is free game to book in Animal Kingdom. Okay, this is fine and dandy, but what about park hopping? Well, according to Disney, when you purchase a Lightning Lane Multipass for a theme park, you'll be prompted to choose up to 3 Multipass experiences and arrival windows in the same theme park. Once you redeem your first selection of the day during your park visit, you can use the My Disney Experience app to choose another Multipass experience in any Disney World theme park, subject to availability, just as long as you have a valid ticket with the Park Hopper option or an annual pass. So in short, no, you can't pre-select 3 Lightning Lanes that stretch across different parks, but you can certainly start booking new Lightning Lanes for the different parks once you're in the thick of your park day. You just have to use your earliest pre-selected Lightning Lane return time first. And what about individual Lightning Lanes? When individual Lightning Lanes switch over to become Lightning Lane single passes, they'll still act pretty similar to the way they were before. You'll just be able to pre-purchase them now before the day of. Just to play catch up real quick, individual Lightning Lanes in their current state are pay-per-ride services separate from a Genie Plus purchase. With individual Lightning Lanes, you'll pay a fee to utilize the Lightning Lane for an individual in-demand attraction. And that's still how it's going to work as a single pass. You'll be able to purchase single passes for the following rides. At Magic Kingdom, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Tron Light Cycle Run. In Epcot, you can get them for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. At Animal Kingdom, it's Flight of Passage, and Hollywood Studios has Rise of the Resistance. So how do you book Lightning Lanes before your trip? Now the real fun begins. Let's figure out how you can book these Lightning Lanes ahead of your trip. Disney World hotel guests and guests of other select hotels will be able to purchase Lightning Lane passes starting at 7 a.m. 7 days ahead of their first park day for their entire stay up to 14 days. Meanwhile, all the other park guests may purchase Lightning Lane passes at 7 a.m. 3 days ahead of their first park day. So that's everybody who's not staying in a Disney World hotel. And because you'll be able to choose a return time window for each attraction, you'll be able to easily plan around your advanced dining reservations instead of getting stuck with a Lightning Lane reservation that clashes with your meals. In fact, Disney mentioned that this new system will actually recommend arrival windows that work with your plans, which will make things easier on our poor, stretched thin itineraries. Now, it sounds like your smartest course of action here is going to be booking your Lightning Lanes as early in the day as possible, since you'll be able to start booking more one at a time once your earliest Lightning Lane has been used, or its arrival window is passed, no matter how late in the day that earliest arrival window is. So the earlier, the better. And don't worry, if you want to modify your plans later on, you'll still be able to do that. Just keep in mind that modifications are subject to availability, and there may be price differences involved if you're planning on switching days and/or parks. According to Disney, you will be able to purchase Lightning Lane passes for days that have valid theme park admission starting at 7 a.m. Eastern on your first day of eligibility. During that time, you'll reserve your Lightning Lanes, both multi and single, at the time of purchase. So let me repeat that. You can purchase both Multipass and Single Pass at the same time. This is a big deal because with the old Genie Plus / individual Lightning Lanes, you were losing sleep during your trip just scrambling to purchase these little dudes. You could make your Genie Plus purchase starting as early as midnight the day of your visit, and then you could potentially make your individual Lightning Lane purchases starting at 7 a.m. the day of your visit, if you were a Disney hotel guest, that is. Otherwise, you'd have to wait to make those purchases once the parks had opened. So the convenience of being able to purchase everything and book both of these premium services before your vacation is going to be a big weight off of guests' shoulders once these new changes are finally implemented. Plus, it means no more super early mornings just to book your rides, right? Right. Currently, we're not sure what prices are going to look like for Lightning Lane multi-passes and Lightning Lane single passes once they go live, but we assume they'll be similar to what pricing looks like now. At the moment, Genie Plus and individual Lightning Lane prices fluctuate depending on demand. In Genie Plus's case, prices typically range between $15 and $39 per day per person. And for individual Lightning Lanes, prices tend to range between $10 and $25 per person per ride. Prices are also determined by which ride you end up booking. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train tends to be the cheapest, ranging around $10 to $12 on average, while Rise of the Resistance will probably run you $15 to $25 per person per ride. Now here's one big thing we're no longer going to be able to lean on as a crutch during our Disney day. Remember that 2-hour cool down period we used to talk about? The one where you could book another Lightning Lane after 120 minutes had passed since your previous selection? Even if you hadn't had the chance to use the previous selection yet? Yep, that's going to be a thing of the past too. But now you're going to be able to start out your day holding on to 3 Lightning Lanes, so I think that probably makes up for it. We'll see. Another couple important notes I want to get out of the way here that might get under people's skin. Please don't blame the messenger. Note number 1, while this service starts on July 24th, you won't be able to pre-book anything before that. So even if you're mid-trip on July 24th, you won't be able to pre-book your Lightning Lanes in advance. I know that kind of stinks, but if your trip does get spliced between these Genie Plus and Lightning Lane changes, make sure you're still familiar with how the old Genie Plus service works, since that'll still be the name of the game leading up till July 23rd. Then consider, if you have this sort of wiggle room to work with, making July 24th your break day during your trip. That way you can add on the remaining multi-passes / single passes to the rest of your vacation starting at 7 a.m., subject to availability. And you won't have to kind of deal with the very long guest service lines and the very angry people in the park on July 24th, because there'll be a lot of them. Note number 2, Disney has included the caveat to these pre-booked rules that's going to impact our international travelers. You must be in the United States or Canada to purchase Lightning Lane passes ahead of time. When we asked the Disney World cast member about this directly, we were told that Lightning Lane Multipass and Lightning Lane Single Pass features will be available to guests from other countries, but these guests cannot start making their pre-arrival planning on the My Disney Experience app until after they cross over into the United States. It's always possible that these rules could change in the future as Disney learns how to work out the kinks better, so we're going to keep you updated if we hear any better news. I know this can all be pretty confusing, so we've compiled all the info you need to know in a free downloadable cheat sheet. You can grab your copy by scanning the QR code or by heading to disneyfoodblog.com/lightninglane. We got a breakdown of which rides require which passes, how to purchase them, and tips to help you ride the most rides. Again, totally free, and we'll sign you up for our newsletter so you get the most up-to-date Lightning Lane news straight to your inbox ahead of your trip. So what can we expect to be different between Disneyland and Disney World? Because this is going live on both coasts. Well, aside from the name change, it doesn't look like Disneyland's going to be following the same pre-selection format that Disney World is switching to. Here's a little graphic that Disney released after the Lightning Lane Multipass announcement, illustrating the differences between the East and West Coast services. From what this graphic depicts, it seems Disneyland's sticking with the same style of service they've basically been using since their Max Pass days. You'll be able to start making your selections one by one after entering your first park of the day, but no sooner than that. Disneyland guests will also not be able to choose specific return windows for Lightning Lane Multipasses, and instead must choose whatever return window is currently being offered. If you're a Disneyland local, you might be cool with things staying the same so you don't have to learn the whole system again, but if you're an out-of-town guest for either resort area, just remember that Lightning Lane now works very differently between the two coasts, so you'll want to study up on the Lightning Lane specifics for whatever direction you're traveling next. So why is Disney doing this? To answer potentially the biggest question you might have at the moment, why? Just why? In order to answer that, we got to backtrack to when we first heard about this whole thing. In 2023, Disney acknowledged that they'd heard guests' pleas of wanting to once again have the ability to plan with Disney Genie Plus service and individual Lightning Lane selections before the day of their park visit. And so Disney assured guests that they wanted to make that possible later on in 2024. They just didn't tell us when it would be sprung on us until recently. According to Disney, the goal of multi-passes and single passes now is to give you the opportunity to spend less time planning in the park and more time enjoying your visit with friends and family. In other words, Disney wanted to make things easier on us, which we appreciate. But much like anything new that's introduced to the Disney scene, there's definitely going to be a learning curve here that we're all going to have to work through together. We're just hoping this learning curve isn't going to be as complicated as the one we had to navigate when we first started using Disney Genie Plus back in 2021. Since this is basically FastPass Plus, except now we have to pay for it, a lot of it should just come rolling back to you when you get into the park and start making those plans, or I guess before you get into the park. But stick with us. We're going to be going through the roller coaster ups and downs with you, and we're going to be testing it out on day one as well. And there you have it. We're now burying the idea of Disney Genie Plus and welcoming Lightning Lane Multipasses into the parks. I know this can all be overwhelming, especially if you're planning to visit the parks right when this new service is supposed to go live. But rest assured, we're going to continue walking you through what we know as well as what we learn, not just through YouTube, but over on our DFB website and social media channels too at Disney Food Blog. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.